Hooked On Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first. Hi, Chris Bungard, helping you plan your weekends fishing. Well, a little bit of fine weather around, which has been nice. The temperatures are coming up a wee bit. Still quite cool in the evenings though, and the old trout fishing around the place, it's coming on quite nicely. In fact, and the evening fishing at the moment has been really good around some of the local streams and rivers. The old good old Waihow between Tiara and Pyroy. Yeah, that's right, that area down there. The river gets quite big in that area there. It slows down and there's been some nice fishing taken there. Now, what I've heard is that guys have been getting in there with their kayaks, which is a good idea because the action of the kayak, when you're paddling along, it makes the lure jerk along like that. And they've been using the little Tobies and the Tasmanian Devils and that sort of thing they'd normally use on a lake. But because the river's a bit slower down there, they've been catching some nice fish. I heard of a guy got a nice brown the other day, 4.5 pound, just below the bridge of Tiara there. So some nice fish on that Waihow at the moment. Also back up towards Matamata region, some of the little smaller streams that run out of the Kaimais into the Waihow there, they're just starting to come into effect because the temperature's warming up a wee bit. I know you wouldn't think it's a lot, but the daytime temperature's now getting up a wee bit and the trout are just starting to hang around those little stream mouths. So if you're looking for somewhere over the weekend to have a crack at them, try those little stream mouths, as I said, of those little streams running out of the Kaimais. Just drive along Old Cowra Road and watch out for the little bridges and head down to where it runs into the Waihow. In the Rotorua region, talking to Glenn Skinner down there, he's still a little bit dubious about the temperature of the lakes. They're still quite low. They're just struggling to get to that 16.5 degrees. Really around that 18 to 19 is where we want them to get what they call that thermocline level on there. And what that does is creates a level of different temperature of water and the trout will lie where that thermocline, where the warm water meets the colder water, and you get it on your soundy, and this is ideal for targeting them with the jigging. It's just starting to happen, so if you get a chance on the weekend and you're down in that Rotorua area, try Rotorua or Okataina, Tararua as well, but Rotorua seems to be the pick of them at the moment. And on the western side and where the pungas and that are over there, there's been just starting to perform now a wee bit on the jigging. Early morning harling still going well, and the best lake, believe it or not, is still good old Lake Rotorua itself, particularly up the Nongata stream end of the lake and around the island. On the western side of the island, he tells me, is really good. In the Taupo region, talking to 2 or 3 of the local boys around here that have been going down there, Brendan Ferniehow and guys like that, and they've been getting some quite nice fish. The Waitanui, there's been some quite nice fish coming out of there, the Tauranga Taupo and the Tongariro, but my man down there, Ken Duncan, tells me that he thinks the Waitanui and the Tauranga Taupo would be the one to target, particularly the upper reaches of the Waitanui. In the evening now, at that change of light, you're getting a good insect hatch, fish starting to rise, you can see where they are. He's using light gear and he's using a little imitative fly pattern, so well worth a look there. On the west coast, finally, Mother Nature has allowed us to get a few trips out there. It's been very, very frustrating. October and November, you can just about count on one hand how many trips have been out there, and it's very frustrating because the big snapper are out there at the moment. As I said, this week they've been getting a few trips out there. Head out to around that 55 metre mark from Carfia and Raglan, and the snapper, they're not, well, to be fair, they're not as huge. Often this time of the year you'll get them around 18, 19, 20 pound real beauties. They're getting a lot around double figures, just sort of sneaking into that sort of 10, 11 pound mark, but quite a few of them, and at the moment they're starting to load off on limit bags. So if you get a chance to get out the west coast, certainly take it. This weekend looks pretty good. Westerlies dropping down though on Saturday, coming round to the east a wee bit on Saturday and then dropping out and then coming back round to the west again on Sunday. But there's that window there where I think you should better get out there. So if you get a chance, give it a go. In the Coromandel region, talking to Ian Wilcox and Ross Southcombe, a couple of local fishing gurus around the place. They went up yesterday to the Coromandel and they got their limit. It wasn't easy, but they did get their limit of nice snapper. The best one around about that 12 pounds, so some good ones up there at the moment. Now the tides for the weekend, you got high tide on Saturday night around about 8 o'clock at night, so low tide around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Fish, the incoming tide seems to be the best up in that Coromandel area at the moment. In the evening, you've got that change of light coinciding with high tide, which is quite good. The high tide is just before the change of light. Well, what happens is as that sun starts to drop and that tide's on the high, should be some quite good fishing there, really right on the turn of the tide as well. Over then into the Mercury Bay region, good tides, big tides at the moment, full moon on Saturday, I think it is, Saturday or Sunday, full moon. So you've got quite big tides, you've got a bit of tide run there, and the evening fishing around the southern end of Great Mercury and that sort of thing should be quite good. Motiti and Mare Island, they're going to be reasonably tough during the daytime with that big moon, but in the evening at the change of light, should come on quite well. Crater Bay, which is on the eastern side of Mare Island, and around about that 25 to 30 metres of water there. There's some quite nice fish hanging around there. There's quite a big catchment area there, and the fish congregate in there to spawn a wee bit, so just look out for there. And at Motiti, the southern end of Motiti, off the knoll, in the evening there, once again, stray lining. Now, if you'd like to win a new reel for Christmas, and why wouldn't you, from Kilwell, give us a call on 0508 647462. That number again, 0508 647462. There's been Chris Bungard helping you plan your weekend's fishing. Hooked on Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first.